Okay, I hope you can hear me. So, this is what we worked on in class, right? So we're using like the pandas library, which is like a collection of like the other data structures that we can use for data analysis, right? So we have to import the library. It's called pandas, so you import that library called pandas, and then instead of you just going giving out saying pandas, we just gave it a short name and you called it PD, right? And then so in this PD thing, we decided to use a series data structure, which is like a data structure which you can use to have like different elements of different data types. So as you can see here, we have got like integers, and then now we've got a string, and here you can have an array. So it's like an array of different data types. I don't know if you're getting me, right? So we just created this, just a simple example to create that. So let me just uncomment it out so that you see how it works. Okay, so now I want this to be commented, that to be commented. I'll get to the, then let me comment that thing again. Okay, everything is now commented out. So we want to see the output of that, right? So we run that, and you see that's what you're gonna get. So let me clear the console, clear console, and then it's cleared. And then the next part is we're going, since we're saying that like a series is an array, like it's a one dimensional array of like different elements, right? We can also use a data frame, which is like a better array because it uses like it's a two-dimensional array. So let me just comment out this one and that one. Let me comment out that one, and then you see how a data frame works. Okay, let me remove that and remove that as well. Okay, now I want to show you how a data frame works. So data one is just the name of the of the series, and then data 1 2 is just the name of this data frame. So as you can see, it's a two-dimensional array with three columns, right? So we have this one, that one, that one, in the columns which are that one, that one, and that one. Also it's a, yeah, it's a 3 by 3 it's a 3 by 3 matrix, right? So now okay, before we get to this, I'll explain this later. So before we get to that, okay, so now I want to see what what will be printed. So if I run that, this is what will be printed out. So you see that 23 is here, that amount is that, and that 89 is that. You see, that's like the 23 is the age, and then the amount is that, and then the quantity is that. Okay, now that's how a data frame works. And then I uncomment that out. This is like to add, let me just comment out here and say to add a new column. So we're adding a new column called sex. So if I run that, you should see sex, there is sex there. Okay, so let me comment that out. That's about that with the data frame. Let me comment out that as well. Comment that as well. Okay, now we want to, okay, wait, before I comment out this, I think I will need it at some point, so let me not comment it out. Okay, now I want to, now I want you okay, control X, okay, so it's control V there, Control here. Why aren't you commenting? Okay, bear with me. I was trying to be okay. Now here we are okay. We were saying we can also drop like columns, right? So oh, that's the code to drop columns, right? Yeah, but this one doesn't really work, so let me not put it here. Yeah, here we're dropping the first row. So okay, let me do this three. Okay, so that you see if we've dropped it. What did I do? Okay, so it turns out we need that line. So as you can see, we used to have 0, 23, 56. Now we no more have that, it only starting at 1, right? And then yeah, that's just like you're dropping your columns, dropping the first one, or like you can use the name or the 0, right? And then we go to, let me just comment out this part, and then we go to this part here. We go to this part here, this one. So now the value counts, right? It's just counting the number of people in our data set, this one in this data set, which have got this age, right? Just count the number of people which you see which we have this 23, 78, 12. We have got 3 ages, right? So I just saying which count how many people are 23, how many people are 78, how many people are 12, stuff like that. So we will print that. Okay, so let's print that. And as you can see, 23 is 1, 78 is 1, 12 is 1. Perfect. And then now if we tell it to describe, it's just going to give you like the whole information. So these are just the functions that you have in the pandas library. So the describe is going to give you the count, those statistical data, the max, the mean, stuff like that. And then if you want the specific, then you have to point it out here and say I want the what, I want the mean, I want the standard deviation, I want so if you point it out, then it's gonna give you a standard deviation down there. And then now we go on to importing data in our pandas library. So let me see Mataboji. Okay, so now obviously in real life you don't make your own data, right? So you have to import it like into like your pandas and all, right? So this is how you do it. This is the line of code that you use to, so you give it the name that you want. I called mine data15, right? And then you say pd, this pd that we referenced here, and then you say dot read. So if you go through the notes for this chapter, you see the different functions. So I think for HTML it's read.html underscore HTML, and then yeah, so yeah, they'll be different. So this one is a CSV file because I sent you an Excel sheet, and an Excel sheet is what is a CSV, and then you write the name that is saved. So the best practice is you also have to have these things in the same folder. Mine are on the desktop. Yo, I've got many tabs, guys. I'm even cooked, but I wanted to show you. You see, they're on the desktop, so yeah, you have to have them in the same file. right? And then we can use the shape to see, like, we're saying we see how many things we have in the data set. So what's happening? Okay, let's do this. Okay, so describe, which means how many rows and how many columns. So it's a 418 by 11 matrix, right? And then we wanna see the the first 7 elements. That's the function you use, and then you go there, and then those are the first 7 elements. And then if you want to see the name and age of the last 7 elements, then you use that function, and there you go. Yeah, but my console has a lot of things now. Perfect. And you can also use like those functions, like just print number of people that are male. So it's gonna show you that. Let me see. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, so it's just showing you the males that you have in your data set. And then can also have a longest condition like this one. Like, I feel like it's just like a set of queries to get different outputs, so you have to make up conditions. So if you want people that are not male and their age is that, so we are using this data set, right? So we say we don't want males, so obviously if it's not male then it's females. So we want females that are less than or equal to 40. So we are just looking at those, right? So yeah, it's gonna use that data, and then you run it. Hey, what did I do? I don't know what I did. I'll debug that later. Yeah, and then we also have this iLock, where you tell it to start somewhere and end somewhere. Start somewhere and end somewhere. I don't know what I did here. Is it because I have this I don't know what I did here. I'm trying to debug it. It's not making sense. I'll see what I did there. But yeah, that is just basically it. So if you go through the notes, you have like a bit of the examples that are there, and then you can just run them and see how they're done.